what day and time works best for your appointment?
Can we do tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
It looks like tomorrow at 2 p.m. is already booked. Would you like to try a different time tomorrow, or is there another day that works for you?
Yeah, can you check for 3 p.m.?
All set. Your appointment at RDM Studio is booked for tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Michael. We look forward to seeing you.
That was an AI voice agent that I built for one of my local barbers. It's capable of answering all their phone calls, booking appointments, answering questions such as pricing and hours, and it can even transfer calls back to the business. The last thing barbers want to do is answer the phone while cutting someone's hair. That's why in this video, we'll be creating an AI voice agent using Retell AI N8N, and we'll be booking appointments into the calendar they already use, Google Calendar. I'm going to take you through the simple build. It's going to require no prior experience and no coding skills. And by the end, you'll have an AI voice agent that's ready to sell. Now, if you're just getting started in AI and the AI voice field interests you, then check out my school group. In there, you get my personal guidance as well as access to download my personal builds. So we're going to be using Retell AI to build the AI voice agent. They're one of the newer AI voice platforms, and they're absolutely blowing up because of how advanced their technology is. They also offer a pay-as-you-go plan. It's $0 to start, self-serve. You can build unlimited, you can test unlimited, and they even give you $10 worth of free credits, pretty much giving you everything you need to build, test, and get your AI business off the ground. We'll log in the top right, and here is our dashboard. So like I said, we're gonna be creating an AI voice agent for my local barber. We're gonna be using single prompt. It's definitely by far the best option here. Start from blank and hit create. Now on the left-hand side, we have where we can name it. We can choose what LLM, what voice, what language, the section for our prompt, as well as what we want the first sentence on the phone call to actually be. In the middle, we have all of our tools and settings, and on the right is the testing area. We can test it by calling it right here, or we can test it by actually starting a chat, and the AI will just be texting back and forth with us. Both of these testing methods are free. So the first thing we're gonna do is come up to the name, and we're just gonna name our AI voice agent. And then under that, we're gonna leave the LLM. Retell recommends GPT 4.1, and I've tested a lot of these. GPT 4.1 is definitely the best one in my opinion. And then for the voice, they also recommend using SEMO. And the language, we're leaving English. If you want to select any other language, it's as simple as just picking it. Now for the prompt, we're actually gonna have ChatGPT do most of the heavy lifting here because AI is great at talking to AI. So we're going to have it configure the prompt for us. So we're gonna come over to ChatGPT and we're gonna plug in this prompt. Create a production-ready AI voice receptionist prompt in Markdown. The assistant books appointments, answers questions, using a knowledge base in a calm human tone, asking one question at a time, and never repeating info. Include sections like role, general rules, etc., etc. The booking flow collects purpose, name, number, etc. Transfer when needed and end politely. Then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to say use this URL for the business information. And we're going to come over to the business's website. So this is my local barber, like I said, and we're going to plug in their URL. And we're going to hit send. Now ChatGPT is going to scrape my local business's website, use the prompt that I gave it, and create an optimized prompt that I can plug into Retell AI. However, what I'm actually going to do is head into my school group, and I'm going to download the generalized prompt that I have just because it's been tested hundreds of times and it's completely optimized. This is universal for any business. As we can see at the top, it says booking information assistant for business. So like I said, there's no actual information in here. There's just a bunch of placeholders. So we're going to come over to ChatGPT and we're going to say tailor this prompt for. We're going to plug in the URL one more time, and then we're going to copy and paste that prompt from my school group. So we're going to copy what ChatGPT cooked up, and we're going to bring it over to Retell. Now, as we can see, ChatGPT gave us a bunch of sections. So first we have the role section. This is where we tell the AI what it is and what it's doing. Then we have a general rules section. This is where we just define rules, like always use the user's phone number to identify the caller's number. We have things like never repeat information already provided. If the caller can't hear you, try again to have them understand you. And if it's still unclear, then transfer the phone call. Under that, we have knowledge base. This pretty much just states what we have available for RDM barbers. And then under that, the bulk and the most valuable section, the appointment booking section. So we first identify a goal. Handle appointments like a professional human receptionist using the available tools and instructions. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields that we are collecting from the caller. We have the purpose, why they're coming in, We have the name, their name. We have the number, their number. We have their provider preference, who they want to see. So in a barber's case, this is which barber do they want. And then lastly, the date and time of the appointment itself. Now, these fields are interchangeable. You can collect whatever information you want. This is something that you're going to talk to the business about, and you're going to ask them what information do you need from the caller to actually book the appointments. What's their preference, basically? The only ones that are required to actually physically book the appointment inside Google Calendar are going to be the number and the date and time, because you need something to put down. Google Calendar needs certain fields in order to actually book the appointments. These are called the parameters or the endpoints. Under the fields we're collecting, we have the availability and booking. So here is where we're telling the AI what to do once it has all the information. So we have invoke. We don't have the tool created yet, so there's just a placeholder here, but it's going to be something like book appointment. So we have, after collecting all the details, book appointment to check availability. It's going to run the workflow, and if the requested time is unavailable, suggest the closest open times. Once an open time is locked in on and confirmed, we are going to invoke the same tool again to actually book the appointment. Under this availability and booking section, we have a booking payload example. This is just kind of like reference for the AI in terms of how we want to format the information that we're sending over. So we're sending over 4 fields: summary field, description field, start time field, end time field. The summary field is going to contain the name and the purpose, as we have defined up here, name and purpose. And the description field is going to contain the preferred specialist and the number, as we have configured right here. Lastly, we have the date and time right here. We have start time as the start time of the appointment, end time as the end time of the appointment, and then we are telling the AI voice agent to put the time, the start time and the end time, in ISO 8601 format. This is just the way that computers format time. Just as we have 5 fields configured up here, we have the 5 fields here: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is 1 field, 5. Lastly, after all the information is sent and the appointment is booked, we have the AI agent telling the customer, all set, your appointment at RDM Studio is booked for day and time. We look forward to seeing you. If all else fails, invoke the transfer call tool, which we haven't created yet. Under the booking appointment section, we have the transfers section. This is also a really important section. This pretty much just tells the AI, and this is universal across like any AI voice agent that I create. Basically, if the caller asks for a live person, or the assistant, the AI voice agent, can't help say, one moment while I transfer you, and transfer the phone call. In my experience, these are the best settings. This is the best configuration for the transfer section. It just kind of creates a no friction type of call. And like I said, in my experience, it works best. Under that, we have multi-shot examples. Those are simply just dialogue examples. We're pretty much telling the AI, hey, this is the common question. This should be your response. Lastly, we have a closing section. This is also universal across all the AI voice agents that I create. We pretty much just say, before ending the call, check in one last time, see if you've met their needs, their concerns, and if they're all set, then end the call. What's good about the prompt is that you can really fine tune it after some testing. So put in your prompt using the ChatGPT method, or from collecting it inside of my school group, and then come over to the test section over here and just kind of talk to the AI voice agent and get a feel for how well it works. And if a problem comes up, which it most likely will, what's cool is you can just come into the prompt, make a change, and that change will reflect. It's as simple as talking to ChatGPT. That's essentially what we are doing here. If you remember, we have GPT 4.1 at the top, and what GPT 4.1 is doing is reading this prompt throughout the phone call. It's the same as talking to ChatGPT. So make sure you do a little bit of testing. The prompt that is inside of my school group has been tested hundreds of times. It's even been verified by the Retell AI enterprise team themselves. It's as optimized as a prompt can get. But the prompt that I gave you guys up here also works great. Now, moving on from the prompt, we need to configure the welcome message. So we're not gonna have user speaks first. We're gonna have AI speaks first. And we're not going to do dynamic, we're going to do custom. And we're going to say, thank you for calling RDM Studio, how can I help you? We're going to do a pause before speaking setting, just so the AI has a little bit of time to gather itself before saying its first line. So we're going to put that at 0.6. And now it's ready to actually create the tools that we have configured in this prompt. So there's 3 tools we're going to need. The first one is going to be the end call tool, which Retell actually already configured for us. The next function we're going to add is the call transfer function, which we already have configured inside of the prompt. The name we're going to leave, the description we're going to leave, and then you're just going to want to plug in the business's phone number right here. And then based on whatever your prompt configuration is when it will call that tool. So for example, if we check where we have transfer call inside the prompt, we have if there is an emergency, transfer the call. If the caller can't hear you, transfer the call. If you're stuck, transfer the call. And then at the bottom, we have if booking fails, transfer call. And if the caller wants to speak to a live person, or again, you can't help, transfer the call. Now to actually book appointments, we're going to need to add a custom function tool, which is going to connect to N8N and then through N8N to Google Calendar. So we're going to name the function book appointment GCal for Google Calendar, and we're going to write the description as invoke this function when the caller wants to book an appointment. Now we can't actually exit this tool call, this function, until we add an API endpoint. It won't let us actually save and leave this function until the API endpoint field is filled in. We're going to have to integrate a workflow. The platform of choice for our workflow is going to be N8N. However, you can use something like Make.com or Zapier. The process is the same for all three. In any of the three platforms, the first module you're going to want to configure is a webhook module. This is what will give us our API endpoint that we can plug into Retell. Ours is going to be right here. We can just click it to copy it. We can bring it over to Retell and we can paste it in. Now we can save this function. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to copy the name of this function, and we're going to want to find where ChatGPT put in that blank tool section. So in our case, we have it in two spots right here, just under the availability and booking section. So now we have, after collecting all the details, invoke the book appointment GCal tool. Once a time is confirmed, invoke the book appointment GCal tool to book the appointment. Now, when it comes to actually setting up other functions and tools, it's really simple. All you need to do is input a command inside the prompt. So you want to say something like, when so-and-so happens, invoke tool. It's that simple. When that scenario occurs, it's going to invoke the tool as long as the tool name matches the name over here. I keep saying function and tool. Function, tool, it's the same thing. Make sure the names match inside of the function or tool section as they're configured inside the prompt, and you'll be all set. The AI voice agent will always call that function in reference to how you have it configured inside your prompt. Now that we have our function section set up, let's actually continue on with the rest of the AI voice agent settings. First being a knowledge base. We need to give the AI voice agent the business's information in the form of a knowledge base. To do so, we're going to come back over to ChatGPT and we're going to say scrape the website, and we're going to provide the business's website and create a simple knowledge base. ChatGPT is now going to manually scrape their website for all their business information and send it over in the form of a knowledge base. Once ChatGPT is finished, we're going to copy the text, come back over to Retell, exit out of the agent because we need to go into the knowledge base section and create a new knowledge base. So we're going to be hitting the plus sign. We're going to type in the name of the business, hit add documents, add text, and we're going to paste in what ChatGPT gave us. And again, the business's name, knowledge base. You can plug in whatever you want in these fields. Just make sure that the business make sure you're giving the AI voice agent all the information that it needs to answer questions properly for the business. We'll hit save. Now we can come back into the agent, come over to knowledge base, hit add, and add the new knowledge base that we just configured. Now it's knowledge base taken care of. Speech settings. So this is a pretty important section. We're going to want to add background sound. It makes everything much more realistic. We'll do coffee shop. Responsiveness we'll leave at 1. Interruption sensitivity we're definitely going to lower to like 0.75 because 0.9 is way too high. Enable back channeling. The rest of this we are all going to leave. We can come down to real-time transcription settings, remove noise or remove noise and background speech. We're going to do remove noise and background speech. And then we're going to optimize for accuracy because accuracy is more important than speed. The settings, we can kind of leave. Actually, I'm going to lower the call duration. We don't want the call to be able to go for an hour. It's a barbershop. We don't need calls to be able to go for an hour. So after 10 minutes, calls will just end, but this is more just preference. End on silence after 2 minutes. If nothing is said after 2 minutes, we will end the call. And ring duration, this is how long it rings while transferring. The bottom 4 we don't need to configure. So that's the rest of the settings, all completely finished. Now to actually set up this book appointment in GCal function, we need to fill in the parameters. We need to tell the AI how it's going to send over information, and more importantly, what information it's going to send over. Now, if you recall, we kind of configured that right here. We have our booking payload example. These are our parameters, our endpoints. This is the information we're going to be sending over, and this is the exact format. So we're going to open our function, and we're not going to do JSON schema. If you want to do JSON schema, just go over to ChatGPT, tell it to create one for you, tell it the fields and the information you're collecting, and it'll create a schema for you. We're going to do form because Retell offers it, and it's much simpler. We're going to match the parameter name with the field and the description with the details. So as you can see, our first field is summary, and our first description is name and purpose. We're leaving the type as string, and we're going to add the remaining 3 fields. Okay, so as we can see, these match exactly. Summary, name, purpose, description, preferred specialist, and number, start time, start of appointment, end time, end of appointment. Now, last but not least, we're going to turn payload args only. What payload args is doing is telling Retell AI to only send over these 4 fields to this API endpoint. If we don't have payload args turned on, then Retell AI will send these 4 parameter fields, but it's going to also send a bunch of other information. And for our case, we don't need all that information. We just need what we're defining in here. It's going to keep things a lot simpler if we turn payload args only. We're going to hit update, and that is going to be the book appointment GCal function completed. To actually make it work, we need to finish the N8N workflow. So coming back into N8N, we need to fix the HTTP method. We need to change it to post. We're going to leave path as is, authentication as is, and the respond we're going to change to respond using respond to webhook node. This is telling N8N don't respond to Retell until you see if this workflow panned out or not. Now let's actually configure the rest of this workflow. So we have the webhook module now configured. We need to add the check availability Google Calendar module. So we're going to type in Google Calendar, and we're going to select it. Now you can type in any calendar, and it'll have all of the configurations that you need. So you'll be looking for event actions, and these are all the event actions that you can choose from. So if you're doing Outlook and you're looking to check availability, do get an event, and it will pull availability from an Outlook calendar. We're going to be doing Google Calendar, and we're going to select the get availability in a calendar. Now, the only thing we have to do here is sign into the Barbershop's Google Calendar. So you're going to need their credentials, their username and password to actually sign in. Once you're signed in, just go to the calendar section right here, do select the calendar, and choose the calendar for the business. Now we can go back to Canvas. The next field we're going to configure is an if module. So these are just native modules inside of these workflow platforms. The if platform states route items to different branches based on true or false. So this is important because we're going to be checking, we're going to have N8N check the Barbershop's calendar to see if the preferred appointment time from the caller is available or not. If it's not available, the if module is going to send us on a false pathway, telling Retell that appointment is not available. If that appointment is available, it's going to send us on the true pathway, which is going to tell Retell, yes, that appointment is available. You are all clear to book. We are going to be dragging the available field from the input over here into the first condition box, and then we're just going to keep is equal to as is and write true inside of the last field. Lastly, we're going to turn on convert types where required. That's the if module taken care of. Now we need to create the false pathway and the true pathway. So starting with the false pathway, we're going to add a respond to webhook node that when triggered will tell Retell AI, hey, this appointment is already booked. You can't select this time. So we're going to do respond with, and we're going to do JSON, and we're simply just going to write curly bracket message, sorry, that time slot is already booked. And then end curly bracket. Now we can head back to Canvas and we need to do the true pathway. So if true, if the preferred time from the caller is available, we're going to create an event inside Google Calendar for the actual appointment. So we're going to type in Google Calendar again, and we're going to select the create an event action. You're going to do the same thing as you did for the check availability module and select the business's calendar. Once selected, we can exit this module, and then we're going to add another respond to webhook. And we actually don't need to configure this true respond to webhook module. It's just going to send Retell a success event, and Retell will know that the appointment was booked. Now we have to send test information over from Retell to N8N in order to actually finish this workflow. Because if you recall, when inside of one of the Google Calendar modules, inside the input data section, we have no data. So we can't fill in the start time and the end time fields, as well as the additional fields that we have configured inside Retell, until we actually send N8N an example of some data. In order to do that, we're going to come over to Retell and we're going to do a test call. This test call will populate N8N with all of the input that we need in order to finish the workflow. However, since our workflow is inactive, as we can see in the top right, we do need to hit this execute workflow button, and this is the same across platforms like Make.com and Zapier. Now, I know inside platforms like Make, you'll have a run scenario button. That's the button you're gonna have to click. And N8N, it's execute workflow. So we're gonna hit execute workflow, and now we're gonna come over to Retell and we're going to conduct a test. So we're going to do just a test chat because it's the simplest. And we're going to try to book an appointment for, say, 2 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, so as we can see, the agent collected our information perfectly. First, it said why we're coming in. It asked for our name, our number, who we want to cut our hair, and then lastly, our preferred time for the appointment. Now, Retell AI said that our appointment is booked for 3 a.m. However, when we go inside Google Calendar, we're going to see that the appointment was booked for the time of this video. Right now, it is 12:46 a.m. Coming into N8N, we can see that it panned out perfectly and it took the true pathway. The true pathway, which resulted in telling Retell AI, yes, the appointment was booked. However, if we come into Google Calendar, we can see that the appointment was booked for 12:46 to 1:46 a.m., which is right now plus 1 hour with no other additional information. Why did that happen? Because when we come into the N8N workflow and we hit on the create an event module, it has the start time for the appointment as now, which is in the current time where you're located. And it has the end time as now plus 1 hour, which is exactly what it did. It booked for the actual time it is right now where I am, 12:46, plus 1 hour. Now, in order to fix that, we need to first go into the get availability in a calendar module, and we need to swap out the now time slot and the now plus 1 hour time slot for the start time and the end time that we sent over. As we can see, the entire input section is now populated. This is all the information Retell sent over, and because of how we organized everything inside of our prompt and inside of our function itself, everything is properly organized into the fields that we requested right here. We have summary, Anthony, haircut, which is the name and the purpose, description, preferred specialist, phone number, start time, start of appointment, end time, end of appointment, just as we have it configured right here in the parameter section. Summary, name, purpose, description, preferred specialist, number, start time, start of appointment, end time, end of appointment. Now, to actually finish this module, we're going to be deleting the now field, and we're going to put the new start time field. And we're going to be deleting the now plus 1 hour, and we're going to be putting in the end time field. Now, this get availability in a calendar module is going to check availability for the start time and the end time that Retell sends over, which will be determined by each specific phone call. That's that module finished. As we can see, it's yellow. Node configuration has changed. We have to do the same for the create an event module. Delete the now section. We need to come over to the webhook input and hit the down arrow. Scroll down to the body section and throw in our start time and do the same for the end time. Lastly, we need to add the 2 fields. Now, like I said, these are kind of like optional fields. That's why it's not required up here. Everything that's required to actually book appointments, the required endpoints will always be right there for you to see. You won't have to hit any additional fields. This is the same for all workflow platforms. So let's say you don't know what endpoints you need to hit. You can simply just take a screenshot of your screen of the module open, send it to ChatGPT and say, okay, what fields do I need to fill in to actually meet these endpoints and book appointments or carry out whatever function, whatever tool you're working on properly, and it will tell you. So at the start of this video, I told you that we needed to collect the number and the start time and the end time. Those were the minimal fields that we needed to collect, but I was actually wrong. We only need to collect the start time and the end time to actually book appointments inside Google Calendar. These fields are pretty much Google Calendar's way of saying, you need to give us certain information in order for us to book an appointment. If you don't give us that information, we're just going to give you an error. It's not going to work. That's the issue a lot of people run into when they try to set up these workflows and these automations. They don't meet the endpoints properly. Well, these platforms that you're trying to integrate with, in our case, Google Calendar, they need certain information. If you don't provide that information, they're going to give you an error. In Google Calendar's case, the only information we need to send over to book appointments is a start time and an end time. However, we are going to add the summary in the description. So to add those fields, we're going to hit add field. We're going to do description, and we're going to drag in the description field. And we're going to do a summary field as well and just drag in the summary field. Now, that's going to be this module completed, as well as the entire workflow. So let's test it again now, but this time I'm actually going to test the get availability module and the create an event module in one call. So we're going to come over to Google Calendar, and I'm going to create an event for tomorrow at 2 to 3 p.m. And I'll just say test. And now that's populating that section. We're going to call and try to book an appointment for 2 to 3 p.m. and we're going to see if the check availability works. Now I want to do this over an actual phone call so we can hear the AI agent itself. To do that, we're going to have to attach a phone number to this agent. To attach a phone number inside of Retell, and this is the same process for all AI voice platforms, Bland, Synflow, Vappy. You're just going to go over to the phone number section, and you're going to purchase a phone number within the platform. Retell, they charge you like $2 per month. Vappy, they charge you like $2 per month. Bland, I know it's like $15 per month, but either way, you have to buy a phone number through the platform to actually have the agent go live. Once you have your phone number, you're going to want to click on it, and you're going to want to attach it to the AI agent you were just working on. In our case, ours was already on Barbers. We're going to come inside the agent and we're going to publish it to have it go live. Once it's finished publishing, our AI agent is live. Anytime anyone calls that phone number, this AI voice agent will pick up. Now that our agent is live, we need to do one last thing before we actually start doing real tests. We need to push our workflow to active. We need to publish it as well. So we're going to slide it to active. And now N8N is telling us that our workflow is active, and we can now make calls to the production webhook URL. So when it comes to production URL versus test URL, inside of the webhook module, we have test URL and production URL. Right now, we have the test URL inside of Retell. However, if you want to use the test URL, you need to hit execute workflow. If you want to use the production URL, you can, you just need to attach it. So we're going to slide our webhook module over to production URL, copy the new production URL, bring it over to Retell, head inside our function and replace the new production URL with the old test URL, and we're going to hit update. Now let's head inside Google Calendar and actually call our agent.
Thank you for calling RDM Studio. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm calling to book an appointment.
Of course. What are you coming in for?
I'm coming in for a skin fade.
Can I have your name for the appointment?
Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony. Is the number you're calling from the best one to use for the appointment?
Yeah, this number works actually perfectly.
Perfect, thank you. Do you have a preferred provider you'd like to request for your skin fade?
Yeah, Michael, please.
Got it. Michael will be your provider. What day and time works best for your appointment?
Can we do tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
It looks like tomorrow at 2 p.m. is already booked. Would you like to try a different time tomorrow, or is there another day that works for you?
Yeah, can you check for 3 p.m.?
All set. Your appointment at RDM Studio is booked for tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Michael. We look forward to seeing you. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
That's it. Thank you. Okay, so going into the Google Calendar, we can see that it saw that 2 to 3 p.m. was booked. So we did the 3 to 4 p.m. slot. If we click on the actual appointment, we have my name, we have the purpose, and then we have the preferred specialist, as well as the number, exactly how we have it configured inside of our Retell function. Summary is the name and the purpose. The description is the preferred specialist and the number. Now these parameters are completely interchangeable. Plug in whatever you like based on what you think is relevant, based on what the business wants to collect, and work with them in order to actually optimize the information you're collecting from the caller and book appointments as best as you can. Now that the agent is built, you can get to selling. The best place to start would be where I started, your own personal barber. You want to keep in mind your costs, which Retell defines simply up here, 12.5 cents per minute. So that's 12.5 cents every minute someone is on the phone with your AI agent. The testing over here is completely free. And then as far as the barbershop, you want to charge them monthly. So keep in mind the value that you're providing and how much money you're saving. So calculate how many missed calls that they think they are missing by how much each client is potentially worth. As businesses know, missed calls are missed clients, and missed clients, especially when it comes to barbershops, that is missed money that can really add up over time. If you want to skip the entire building portion of this, I will be downloading this exact Retell AI voice agent and uploading it inside of my school group. From there, you can download it for yourself and upload it into your own Retell account. Same goes for the N8N workflow. Download it from the My Template section in my school group and upload it onto your own N8N account. Sign into the business's calendar and you should be all good to go. My group is exclusive. It's really only for those who are serious about building and selling AI voice agents. If you want to check it out, it will be the first link in the description. If you want to book a demo with my company, SimpleShift, and have an AI voice agent built out for you and deployed to your live line, you can book a call with my company. It will be the second link in the description. AI voice agents are absolutely blowing up for a reason. This is an opportunity that you really shouldn't let pass. Whether you are a builder or whether you are a consumer, you run a business, the value here is outstanding. Take advantage of it while you can, just like I am. Thank you guys for watching. And if you want to watch a similar build where I built an AI voice agent for a dental clinic, I will leave that video on screen now. In addition, please like and subscribe. It helps more than you guys know. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon.